20 seconds. San Diego's Jazz, 88.3 in music there from Danny Green. After the Calm is the name of the latest from Danny Green and his trio. Justin Grinnell on bass, Julian Cantelma on drums, pianist Danny Green, with all original compositions on his new one. Choro pra corrente is what we were listening to, and I'm sure Danny would pronounce that differently in doing it correctly in Portuguese, but I don't have that on me right now. But great to play music from locals like Danny Green, who's making a big name for himself. We've got other locals picked out tonight too. We've got Leonard Patton's new release, and Katie Thoreau also, who's, both those artists are going to be on the New Jazz Thing in the next few weeks. So we got music from them coming up in hour 2 of the new. But right now, in hour 1, we're going to be chatting with Ian Harland. Ian is a recently graduated student with his master's in music in jazz vibraphone from San Diego State University. He's also got his bachelor's there in drum. He plays in various groups around town, and he's got a gig coming up, a jazzy side of his playing, a gig coming up this Friday here in town, and we're going to talk about that right now with Ian Harland. Ian, welcome to the New Jazz Thing.
Thanks for having me, Vince.
So let's first tell people about the gig, the jazz gig that you got coming up Friday that we're interested in.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be at 98 Bottles. It's actually Saturday.
Saturday, great.
Yeah, Saturday. Okay. The doors open at 7 o'clock, and we'll be playing at 8 o'clock for a long set till 9:30. And that'll be featuring Professor Richard Thompson on piano from San Diego State, Doug Walker on bass, and Kevin Higuchi on drums, and myself on vibraphone.
So this is a band called Spiral?
Spiral, yeah.
And how long have you guys been together?
Well, Richard and I have been playing since I've been at San Diego State, and recently we had this idea to put this Spiral project together with Richard and I playing together, and we did a concert at San Diego State with San Diego State musicians Mac Layton on bass and Aaron Thagard on drums. Unfortunately, they couldn't make this gig, so we subbed them out with some other great players in town, Kevin and Doug.
Excellent. So you just finished your work. Tell us at San Diego State's University's Jazz Studies program. How long ago did you graduate?
Just in December.
Really, just in December. And that was in studies, in particular, a master's studies in jazz vibraphone?
Yeah, vibraphone performance.
So tell us a little bit about what you have to do to graduate with a master's in jazz vibraphone. Is it just performance, or is it composition also? What is some of the rigor that you go through?
The performance aspect is definitely highlighted in the program there. I did some teaching too, 3 semesters of teaching the combos there, in particular Combo 4, and I had some great groups that we did some interesting stuff with. In fact, we even played one of Danny Green's compositions on one of our recitals. So mostly it is focused on performance. Of course, you're taking lessons with one of the professors, and then you also take some seminars and some electives. So there's a research seminar where you learn to research and use the world libraries and websites like WorldCat and everything in order to access materials, in order to do research in music. And there's an entire class just devoted to that. And then there used to be a jazz history seminar, but due to enrollment issues, that doesn't exist anymore. So instead, I took a audiovisuology class, which I think is very important for today's musicians to have some sort of visual aspect with their music, because in a world where people hear their music through either Jazz 88 or YouTube, having visual stimulus to help out promote music is actually very good way to go.
Very relevant in this day and age. So that was your master's study in vibraphone. You also got your undergrad in drums.
Drums.
And was that jazz drums or
jazz drums as well? Yeah.
Excellent. And so, tell us a little bit about then when you started. How did you get involved in the mallets?
Well, it was interesting. I started originally playing a little bit of xylophone from. There was a guy in town, Morris Palter, and when I was 15, I took some drum lessons from him, and he was also a virtuoso ragtime player. And he had this old 20s xylophone that he had at his house, and it was just so cool of an instrument, I just had to start playing it. But I didn't really take the mallet seriously until I was about 19, and I was taking lessons from San Diego's Anthony Smith at SDSU just like 4 years ago.
Right.
And Anthony is just such a phenomenal jazz player, plays piano and vibes.
Right.
And he's actually going to be back in town in March, and we're doing a Bobby Hutcherson tribute concert March 19th with Joshua White and some other greats. Doug's also on that one.
Excellent.
So.
And you grew up here in San Diego County, right?
Yeah, in North County.
And what high school did you go to?
I went to Canyon Crest Academy.
Excellent. Well, let's just delve into some of the other sides of you. You're not just a jazz player. You do some other things. Tell us about your non-jazz playing.
Yeah, well, I've always played rock and roll drums, and I've taught myself guitar and bass and those things over the years so I could compose as well. And then, of course, now I compose on the vibraphone and the piano. So, but yeah, I play in a band called Addicted to the Vibe. We play a lot up in North County. Actually, we're playing on Friday at Hard Rock Cafe. And so, yeah, we play some original music. We're in the process of doing some recordings as well. Those are mostly finished. Probably this month we'll be done getting all those recordings together and releasing some stuff with that group as well.
Excellent. So then what, as someone now who's kind of got the formalized schooling behind you and you're kind of moving forward, what are some of the biggest challenges for you to be able to pursue what you want to do? Do you want to be a professional performer, or what do you see for yourself?
Well, I definitely see myself performing for the rest of my life. It's my passion. I love doing that. It's just such a rewarding experience being up there and letting loose and taking all that stuff you knew and just throwing it away and just having fun and connecting with an audience. That's really what I love to do. But I also have found recently, especially being in the grad program, where I had a certain amount of respect, I guess you could say, from the younger students, and they would ask me questions. I really loved teaching jazz as well. And so definitely something in the future I'd like to do is maybe get a community college job teaching classes in jazz theory or teaching ensembles. I really enjoy doing that as well. So,
Excellent. Well, remind folks one more time about your upcoming gig at 98 Bottles.
So yeah, we'll be playing 98 Bottles, Spiral, with Richard Thompson piano, Doug Walker bass, Kevin Higuchi drums. That's at 98 Bottles, 8 o'clock on Saturday. And also I'll be playing Thursday at UCSD with the Antar Martin aggregation. That'll also be at 8 o'clock. And then March 19th with Anthony Smith, also at 98 Bottles. That's going to be a big one. So
Eric, Ian, where can folks find out more information about you and connect up with you?
I have a website, ianharland.com, IANHARLAND, just my name. And you can find my upcoming gigs on that website and other information and some recordings as well.
Excellent. Well, we've got links to Ian's website, and we'll make sure that we get a link up to information about the gig at 98 Bottles, and we'll put that up there too, and that's at jazz88.org's blog, at jazz88.org/blog. We're ending things with music from your professor and a member of Spiral, Richard Thompson. So when are we going to have some of your music to play here on the New Jazz Thing?
Well, I've been putting together another group with my friend Mac Layton, who's at San Diego State right now, and he has had this idea to have a vibraphone quartet, and sometimes we've been actually rehearsing as a quintet too for fun. But so that the idea behind that is mostly original music, and we'll be recording something at the end of summer with my tunes, his tunes, and hopefully some of the other members' tunes as well.
Excellent. Well, Ian, it's fantastic to have you on here. Good luck with all the things that you've got going on, especially the gig coming up this Saturday at 98 Bottles. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight on the New Jazz Thing.
Thanks for having me, Vince.
Ian Harland here on the New Jazz Thing, and here's music from his professor, pianist Richard Thompson. This is a tune called Mirage on the New Jazz Thing, San Diego's Jazz 88.3. Get this up here. Okay, great. Let me